colleagues, once again, thank you for joining us. Coach, congratulations on the victory. Can you please give us a summary of the 90 minutes?
Yeah, man, we knew we were playing against a team that is very organized, a formidable side with a very brilliant coach in Clinton Larsen. Also a team that has got a lot of ex-professional players, Nene, Zuke, you name them. They've got quite a lot of those players. Nguzana, even Leratu Manzini is in that space. But I think the first half was, the good thing is that we wanted an early goal to make sure that the game takes shape immediately. If they are coming with a low block, they are immediately forced to come out and try to equalize. Then the game is open for us. And we were fortunate to get those 2 goals. But I think again after those 2 goals, we gave a little bit of time and space on the ball. Zuge managed to have a lot of time in the ball in the latter stages of the first half, which made us to look like we were defending a bit deep. And we tried to push, but maybe the players could not understand exactly what we were saying at that time, because we were unhappy that they were having diagonal balls now going into their fullbacks, possibilities of getting even behind the defense. But I think second half we came back with a more resolute mind to try and bury the game, and also press a lot from the top and force a lot of errors even from their centre backs, which we did. But there were some areas that we were very unhappy about. I think we gave them 2 or 3 counter-attacks first half, where one of them, if the goalkeeper had a good delivery, our rest defense was very bad. But we are learning from this, and the players that were playing, most of them do not play regularly, so it was also good for them to get a run and really gain these minutes that are very important in our preparation for all these competitions, because as the competition progresses, we will need everyone.
Thank you. Fidel from Frontrunner. Can you please indulge us into how you set up for the match today? Looking at the starting lineup in paper and what was on the field, almost 2 different things. I think I saw Kermit far on the right in the first half. Can you please just walk us through how you set up for this team today? Thank you.
The truth of the matter is that we've been playing like this for the past maybe 5-6 matches now, if you notice. Peter has also been coming from the wide channels. Tapelo has been coming from the wide channels. Kermit, even in the previous match against Merrick, he was coming from that area. And we had 2 false nines in Lesedi and Gaston, with Neo on one side and Kermit on one side. Then the 2 central midfielders, Lebu and Debza, then a back 4. That was the structure and the idea, to try and, because we knew they were going to have 4 in the heart of the midfield, and that 4 would be confronted by our 2 false nines and the 2 central midfielders. And on the outside, they would be having wing backs. We anticipated that they might play with a 3-man defense. We never anticipated that they would play with a 3-man midfield, but the same thing applied. Their wing backs would have to deal with a 2 versus 1 of Kermit and Mudau, and also of a Neo and Opri on the other side, and I think it came out right.
Thank you. Coach, just 2 quick ones. Starting off with the man of the match, Gaston Sirino, 3 assists, 1 goal as well. Hasn't played, in a very long time, maybe due to a couple of injuries. What is it that you told him for him to put such a good performance? I mean, obviously it's a lower division club, but you still have to put in those performances. What is it that you told him before the match for him to do what he did? And secondly, Coach, Peter Shalulile and Tembazwani, top players always want to play matches irrespective of the opposition. How did they take it when you told them that they're not starting and you're trying to rest them for the next game? Thank you.
Maybe let me start with the second one. We have an understanding with the team. We understand we've got quite a serious number of matches to be played, which I think I must give credit to the coaches and the players themselves, that we are in that mode now where we are comfortable to rotate without any fear that if we're tampering with this thing, it might cause problems for us. that is why maybe by now we have played more than 32 players in this competition or in this campaign, which is very positive for us. So Peter and Temba, they also understand we have Golden Arrows again on Tuesday, and it's a very important match for us. We want to make sure that this thing takes direction as well quickly, and we have to win that league match. We also believed in the team that we had. We had a lot of quality. You know, at times people say you are playing fringe players, and when you look at these fringe players, they are probably national team players almost from start to finish. So the truth of the matter is the coaches have done very, very well in making sure that we give confidence to all the players, and no player starts to think maybe I'm just here because they could not chase me away. Everybody believes I've got a chance to play, and we must show that. We must not just talk about it, we must show it, and it helps us because now with the number of games that we have, we've got a little bit of latitude to say, let's play this team against Almeric, let's play this team against Summerfield. Maybe we've got the same team against Golden Arrows, then we go to Angola with another team. It's something that is working, and everybody has got minutes and good match temperament because everybody has got good match fitness. No one is coming from having had a match maybe 15 matches before. Everybody has played in the last 3 matches, so that helps us to always have the right balance. And as for Gaston, it was not particularly on him. Personally, as a coach, if there is one paranoia that I have, I don't like to play these matches that everybody thinks I'm going to win. Those matches for me are the matches that always demand that I dig deeper from a training perspective, a motivational perspective, and understanding the value of and the personality of our team to make sure that all at any given stage, if it's not about the character of the match in terms of the opposition, it should be about making sure that you show us that you deserve to play a big match by making sure that when you are given an opportunity in these so-called small matches, you show that you are a bigger player than the smaller matches. And all the players, we put a lot of pressure on them because these performances for us are not only just against Summerfield, but it's performances that must say to us, who do we have in the game against Golden Arrows, which is another very important match? Who do we have in the game against Petro in Angola? Because it's another very important match for us. So there is no game that we take for granted. And I think this culture is really paying off for us because including friendly matches, even a friendly match, we want to win. We don't want to be lazy. And at this stage, a player like Gaston is a new acquisition for us. We are excited even as the technical team because when we look at Gaston, we are saying this is one additional member into the squad because he has not played and is fresh. He can still give us a little bit more freshness in the game and help us going forward. And when he performs like this, we get excited. The same thing with Lebu. We've gained another player because he has not been around for the longest of time. And when he is given an opportunity and he performs the way he performs, we get excited because for us, it's like it's a new acquisition. The same with George applies. When we see a player that has not been playing, given an opportunity and really stamping his authority, then it says to us, maybe we look like a team that has just signed 3 more players towards the end of the season. And that is encouraging because it may not show physically, but the players that have had far too many matches, they get an element of fatigue. Temba's one is not young. Now when we've got an opportunity to take him out so that he's always playing every match fresh, it's a benefit to us. When we've got Surprise playing every match when he's fresh, it's a benefit to us. Unlike when we have to play him week in and week out and he's bent down and he starts to get injured. But the moment they play fresh, I'm sure you saw how Surprise played against the Swallows. You saw how Mshishi played against Swallows. George also had a very good performance. Andile. And those players that I'm mentioning are not young players, are players that if you've got a chance, because they are influential in your team, to allow them to only play when they are 100% fresh, it gives you a chance to win that match easily than playing them even when they are tired. Because once you lose them because of injuries, it creates more problems for you, because they are players that, even in this match of Summerfield, if the game was not taking the direction and the shape that we wanted, then you bring in Themba Zwane, he brings the character of the team. Then you bring in a Peter Shalulile. It's a completely different setup altogether. So Gaston is exciting all of us, because all we want is players to run, players to work very hard, and players to really represent the club the way we want it to be represented. And they are not disappointing in that space, and we are very excited.
Coach Lorenz from the University Times. Mido, he showed signs of a bit of a strain in the previous game. Is that why he didn't play today? And then you just spoke about resting players. Rushan has been rotated a lot over the past few weeks. Is he one of the players you're wrapping in cotton wool at the moment?
No, man. Mido and Rush, to a certain extent, even Themba Zwane, surprisingly. In the last match, Rush, on match day -1, started vomiting, and we were very worried, because we thought maybe there is a bug or something. In the match, after the match, the doctors diagnosed this thing, and they realized there was an element of indigestion and all that, and he got dizzy in the training session prior to this match. Then we said, no, it's important for us to take him out, but the truth of the matter is probably would have played this match if it was not for that. But he's still the most important player for our team, and it's not only rotating him, because if you were to say how much has Brian Onyango been rotated, how much has been Grant rotated, and you'll find that it's more or less the same, because we do look at this data and analyze these minutes and see who has performed more than the rest, and try to make sure that we keep them fresh. What was the other question? Mido was also in that space. When we took him out against Swallows, it was not the injury like you saw. He also vomited a little bit in that space, and we were worried with what really happened. But we had to rest him for this match with AJ to try and make sure that we refresh the team. But it was not through bad performance. He performed very well. AJ also did very well in the previous match. But it is always important to try and make sure that we have a fresher team, which I think credit should be given to the team that we are working with, because we are really, really helping ourselves by always trying, whenever there is a chance, to play a fresh team all the time, because it gives us a chance to go to that match with the same intensity, because our game is very demanding, and it's high octane, counter presses, high presses. You work a very hard. If I can give you the mileage and the kilometers that we cover in a match, then you will understand what I'm talking about.
Coach, let's look a little bit in the Champions League now. I mean, obviously, when you reach the knockout stages, you must be prepared to play anyone anyway. But I'm sure from your perspective, you guys will be a little bit happier that you don't have to travel that far. You just have to go, to Petro in a game that is not, on paper as it's going to be like those bigger teams in the north.
If I were to be honest with you, that Petro has really done exceptionally well this season, and they've scored quite a number of goals. They've got some Brazilians that are very dangerous, that have done a lot of good work. In their group, they could have easily been number one. Had they not been beaten by Iwidad in the last match, they looked like they were going to top that group, and they did very well. Yes, obviously, when you are comparing it to your Esperance, to your Belustad and all these other teams that we could have played against, or Raja, yes, you would say, who are these guys? But for me, the Petro is very close to what we were when we were there in 2016, because everybody was asking, who are these guys? And we kept going. No one would have given them a chance to even be in the quarterfinals. So we are playing against a formidable team that we have to respect and understand it's not going to be easy. They are a free-scoring team. They are doing well even in their local league. So we have to really dig very deep. Yes, it's a bit of an advantage, the fact that we are not traveling very far. It's an advantage in terms of making sure that we face all competitions probably with less fatigue. But it's not an advantage because the opposition that we are playing is weaker. Because even the conditions in Angola are a little bit difficult sometimes. The place can be very hot. So we are just hoping everything will favor us, and hopefully we get the results that we will be looking for.
Thank you, Coach Kens.
Coach Kensana Masana from Blog. I wanted to ask you, after everything you've mentioned and talking about players coming in and players going out, I saw something like, especially like with set pieces, corner kicks, you'd usually have like two left-footed players there and one right-footed player, and I think that poses a surprise to the opponent to say, are we getting an in-swing or an out-swinger here? And also in terms of like the pressing that we've been doing with the false nines, and then having like Peter on the right, and then sometimes Sailor inverts, and then Lyle goes up. Today Obi goes up, he inverts. Sailor creates 2v1s with Kemet. Would one be correct in assuming that this team, as much as we have star players, but our game model is the real star player in this team?
I would really not want us to go deeper into how the team is playing. I think I'm more comfortable with the fact that we are happy that the players are giving a good account of themselves, and they seem to be understanding what we are trying to do, because this is one of the most elements in our game, because we don't want to be too predictable with a lot of analysis and everything that is happening. I think in the Nedbank Cup probably have played 3-4 systems already, because we are trying to make sure that you ask yourself, are they coming with a diamond midfield? Are they coming with a 4-3-3? Are they coming with a 4-2-3-1? Are they coming with 2 false nines? It's very important for us, because with the modern technology, it becomes very easy for opponents. Once you've got standard procedures, they know, no, this one will be doing this one will be doing that. But we are also able to change the system within the match, because even how we finished this match was a little bit different. When we brought Pavol, then we had a straight number 9 and 2 wingers and a 3-man midfield, a 4-3-3. But we did not start like that. So it's very important that our players also adapt to these conditions, because they can be demanding mentally, because when we want to defend with our wide strikers, maybe we will want play to be forced inside, or we will want play to be forced outside into the fullback. So those dynamics are very critical, because you are not only looking at, I want to force play inside. It must also be influenced by, where do we have numerical superiority? Are we having numerical superiority on the inside, where we can force play in, or are we having numerical superiority when we take them to the line, or we are inferior inside and we realize we need an extra defender, which can be the touchline? So it's very important that players also understand these dynamics, and they are responding very well, and we are very excited.
Thank you, Coach, and thank you, colleagues.